Hare Krishna. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Make Japa Great Again. And an important foundation for not just japa, but for devotional service in general, is doing good for others. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna very definitively says in the 18th chapter that there's no one more dear to him than the person who's doing good for others. There's lots of ways people conceive of doing good for others because there is a natural emotion within the heart that let me do good for others. But much of it is misplaced because of the bodily conception of life. When I think that I'm my body and other people are their bodies, and my sense of sympathy for them becomes actually a way that I entangle them more. So what it means to do good for others is to distribute knowledge so that people, living entities, can realize the fact that human life is an opportunity for extricating themselves from the three modes of material nature and developing a relationship with Krishna. And so, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had strongly come out against those who would just do their own bhajan. He called nirjan bhajan, just myself, and not considering others. The complete bhajan means noticing that living entities are struggling in the material nature and knowing that I'm one of them struggling. And I've been given an opportunity to rise above it. And one must, in order to have a holistic approach to pleasing Krishna and doing devotional service, be absorbed in that sense of mission, of how to distribute this to others. Chanting japa in that context, or doing anything in that context, then is especially effective. Means that when we're chanting, it should be a way of rejuvenating ourselves, coming to a higher level of realization so that we can carry on the mission. They go hand in hand. And this is one of the ways that japa becomes great, because when we're in the flow of distributing Krishna consciousness, and that's our mission in life, is to contribute to that effort. And we also chant. It can be a form of self-improvement so that we can carry on the mission, and also the chanting can be a prayer that please empower me to do this. And we'll notice that that was the mood of Prabhupada when he came on the Jaladuta. His prayers were missionary. He was saying, how can I do this? How can I spread the name of Krishna everywhere? How can I spread the Srimad Bhagavatam everywhere? And that was his concentration. So my proposal is that flow, which is created by the intention to be part of the mission, the greater mission, to do my part, use the information that I've gained from studying how the material world works, and then employ it in Krishna service to spread the Krishna consciousness movement. Then chanting in that mood, how to make sure other people get that, is the most effective way to continue chanting throughout one's life, to be carried by that mission. Any reflections? It was a fantastic day yesterday because we had an opportunity to go into one of the most shockingly degraded places on the planet, which is downtown San Francisco. So we'll just take a few reflections. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, and welcome back.
Thank you.
Happy to have you back. So, yes, what you mentioned perfectly resonates with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what he said, Janma sarthaka kari karo para upakar. So both has to go together. Thank you for reminding us on that.
Chai. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. How do we cultivate that sense of mission or that sense of purpose? Like, what can we do to cultivate that?
How do we cultivate it? Well, partly by being around those who are in the mission. There's nothing that can be more exhilarating than going out and distributing Krishna consciousness to others. When you go out into the world and you try to give other people Krishna consciousness, you simultaneously learn about the three modes of material nature, and Krishna gives revelation. So partly learn just by doing it. The order is there, as Prabhu just pointed out, that Lord Chaitanya already gave an open order, everyone should do this. In fact, he said, everywhere you go, do this. And if you do that, then it's automatic that you get a realization of what it means, as you see people's reactions to it. Sometimes people just out of hand say, no, I don't want to see this, I don't want to hear it. Like yesterday, some people, when they were coming by the Harinam Sankirtan, they just ignored it, like it wasn't even there. And you can discern from looking at them that they have a hardened attitude about life. It's a very insulated idea that these types of things that you're doing here are inconsequential, or maybe even nonsense. They're just sentimental. And they've developed that by Krishna's grace. He's given them the intelligence. And then there are other people who are immediately open to it. They hear it, they see it, and they say, hey, that's what I should be doing. And you can see in them, yesham tontakatam papam jananam punyakarmanam, that they have some previous qualification. Their hearts are a little bit open. They have some punya, so they're attracted to it. And all these things can be seen by a person who just tries to engage in the mission. It's self-revelatory. In other words, when you do it, then you see it for yourself.
Thank you.
Last point from this side. Or online. Agree, disagree, beg to differ. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Sharing is really a testament to receiving rather than achieving, because we receive the holy name so that we can share it.
Yeah, I mean, and when we give it, also it grows for us. It's a really important point. Someone was making this point recently that if you, during, let's say, holiday time, Christmas time, people give gifts. And so let's just take the personal contact out of it and say, let's just make it a mechanical process. You sign up for something and you get something in return by some algorithm. Has nothing to do with the human interaction whatsoever. Then people wouldn't be so attracted to it. The reason that people like the holiday season and gift giving and going to all the trouble of walking around buying stuff for people is because there's a sense of growing by giving. They feel good about themselves, and there's a sense of a loving exchange. And that extends when we think about how to do good for others, how to give to others. Then for us, the gift becomes more valuable. And as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Panchatattva gave it out, it increased. So when you give it, then it increases. And that should be the feeling of the mission itself, is let's not be stingy. Let's be very magnanimous and give out as much as possible to as many people, and the more we can increase it, then the more the supply increases as well. And we learn that giving means growth, means life. Thank you. So let's try. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. Just to pass on something that we discussed during earlier, is that chanting japa requires giving one's attention just as much as if you go to exercise, but you don't You just go through the motions, but you don't actually lift anything, and you don't get the benefit either. The resistance has to be there. So one of the directives that's very simple for chanting japa is to be aware that we're chanting. And it may sound too simplistic, but one idea is that the most valuable asset that we have is our awareness. Could somebody please look it up? Just see where the word comes from. There's a lot that you can do with your awareness. For instance, you could, as somebody said to me the other day, pouring your awareness into something. Have you ever poured your awareness somewhere? Say yes, please. So if like you're reading or writing something and you give your full attention is what it means, right? And so it's as if you're pouring your awareness into it. And if you think of your awareness as a substance, and then consider that it's the most valuable substance that we have, the most valuable asset that we have is our awareness. Please go ahead.
Awareness, state of being aware, from aware, Middle English, from late Old English, gewir, watchful, vigilant, from Proto-Germanic, jawara, source also of Old Saxon jawar, Middle Dutch jaware, Old High German jawar, German jawar.
It's come a long way, that word. So what's the root of it?
Aware.
And what does it mean?
It means watchful, vigilant.
Watchful and vigilant. So there's also a way your awareness can leak out. For instance, if you have a most valuable substance, and let's say you're transferring it, for those who are cooks, and you've taken painstakingly created something, some sauce, or maybe it's sandesh or something like that, and you don't want to waste even one fleck from that, or one drop. Then you're really careful how you pour it through a funnel, and it goes into the bottle. And if you see that some of it leaked out on the side, you'd be in anxiety. Have you ever had that? Yeah, or somebody's dealing with some rare substance like gold, and let's say they're pouring it. They're not haphazard. They make sure that it goes through some process where they don't lose even a molecule of the gold, right? It's not that they're careless and it just leaks out. It's like, it's no big deal, it just fell on the floor, we'll just leave it. So my proposal is that our awareness is more valuable than that, especially in the span of life that we have as a human, to use that substance vigilantly, and that there's a place to pour it and there's a place where it's wasted, it just leaks out. So when we're chanting japa, it's a practice time when we say, I want to put it through the funnel, I don't want to waste even a molecule of it. That becomes japa that's invigorating, and it brings us to the next level. Please discuss. Yes, Bhakti Kennedy.
Hare Krishna, welcome back, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you.
I was thinking, especially driving out here, you see a lot of billboards, and it's a multi-billion-dollar industry to get our attention. In fact, it's so sought after that you can't even be on a website now without it actually tracking you and showing you what you were looking at the last website, just to hope that you'll go back and click into it. And so it's kind of inspiring to see how much people want our attention, simply that we can take this valuable asset and we can figure out where we want to invest it. Because truly, it's a distraction until it's put in the right position.
Yes, distraction and a waste. Attraction means Krishna. That's his name means attraction. And distraction means it's being wasted. It's going somewhere that's not Krishna. Thank you. That was really helpful, practical. Two more.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, reflecting on the mood that you said, that prachar, that preaching. So yesterday when the book distribution was going on, one person asked, "Why are you doing this? Is it free?" Means they were shocked. But and another time, one Christian person came. He was, I think, Christian priest or something. So he said, "What is this books for? And why are you doing this?" And he was very happy, and he appreciated. He didn't take the book, but he said, "We are brothers," and he gave me a big hug. So I was thinking that Srila Haridas Thakur, he was just, the king told, all you have to do is go to your cave and chant. But he was preaching actually. Out of 192 rounds, last 64 rounds he would loudly chant and preach. So, in fact, he said that that even if you cut my body to pieces, badane jai harinam. What is that sloka? Khanda khanda hai deho jai jodi pran tabu na badane chari harinam. That even if you cut my body to pieces, still I'll not give up this preaching mission of chanting.
Each one of the pieces will go on chanting.
Go on chanting. Thank you for setting the
Yeah,
point.
so Sanatana Goswami glorifies Haridas Thakur and says, some people preach but they don't follow strictly. And other people, they follow strictly but they don't preach. But the combination, he said, that you have is that you preach and you follow strictly. And that's what Prabhupada proposed as the means to sustain the practice throughout one's life, which is absolutely necessary because we don't have a lot of time to lose. You have to have enough runway to take off before you leave this body, so you don't have to land in some God-forsaken place again. And it's like, hey, wait a minute, where am I now? I have to start over. Better to get enough runway and get enough speed going so that you can lift off and use this one lifetime as a runway to go into full service to Krishna. Okay, one last one online, and it is Naimasharnya, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev. I was reflecting on this point about attention, and I was reflecting on Bhishma Dev. He was lying on the bed of arrows, and he was giving, all his attention to the service which Krishna had given him to provide to Yudhishthira Maharaj, and explaining him how he needs to, start his kingdom and rule it. But at the time when, he thought it was appropriate to leave, he just focused his attention onto Krishna, who was in front of him, and then left. I was just reflecting on this point that attention means Krishna. And when we chant with attention, then we're able to focus on Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas. And by the way, it takes practice. It's not that just suddenly, magically, when we leave this body or at times of trauma, that we'll just automatically remember Krishna. But we have to practice at all times, because once we're practiced at it, then it'll become second nature habit. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Radhamanan Mohan, if you so desire, please empower us to spread the Sankirtan movement and follow strictly the process of chanting Hare Krishna. Thank you for considering our request. Vanchakalpataruscha, Kripasanabheva, Chapatitanam, Pavanibhyo, Vaishnavibhyo.